Kick-ass tips and advice for coaches aspiring to develop a winning culture.
Hey, what's up, coaches? Welcome back to Next Level Coaches. Today we're going to talk a little bit about developing a winning culture. We define a winning culture as one that is welcoming, player-centered, and improvement-driven. That is, emphasis is put on learning and getting better, and not on overall performance or outcome. Let's dive in and talk about part one. A winning culture is one that is welcoming. Coaches, you need to create a culture where all individuals work together trying to achieve team goals. For your team to function at full capacity, you need all players to become a united group, a connected group. You cannot have me-type players on your team. You cannot have players who don't want to be there, and you cannot have players who have character issues. Those types of players become cancerous and threaten your team dynamic and hold you back from truly becoming great. Isn't becoming great what you ultimately want to do? For that to happen, you as the coach must be willing to build a welcoming culture. A welcoming culture is one that is connected, non-threatening, and one that is loving and caring. Coaches, do your players show up to every practice, every workout? Do your players show up early and leave late, or do they show up late and leave early? When they're there, what do you see? Do they want to be there? Are they there because they have to be or because they want to be? What are your interactions with them like? What's the general vibe that you get from your team? A welcoming culture is just that, welcoming. Players should want to be there. They should enjoy being around their teammates and their coaches. They should feel connected and feel like they're part of something much bigger than oneself. So, how do you create that sense of connectedness? As a coach, you should communicate frequently. Communication's key. Provide opportunities for your players to ask questions, share ideas, and solicit feedback. Actively listen and act on their suggestions. Give them a sense of ownership. By doing this, you give everyone the opportunity to get better. You'll find out what your players' strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and you'll even find out what their interests are. As a result, you will get to know your team a little bit better and build that culture which is connected. Help your players set and reach meaningful goals. Hold them accountable. This shouldn't stop with you though. You should encourage players to hold each other accountable as well. They should push each other so that they are helping one another meet individual goals, but more importantly, they're gonna push each other to help achieve team goals. Recognize and celebrate success. Recognize hard work, dedication, celebrate milestones. Celebrate successes no matter how big or how small they are. And finally, give them the time of the day. Go out of your way to meet with your players. How will you know how things are truly going if you're not giving them the time that they need? If you don't ask them questions? If you're not listening to them? This brings me back to my original statement. Communication is key. As I stated earlier, a winning culture is non-threatening. Members of your team should never feel threatened or unwanted. They shouldn't have to worry about what others think or what others say. They shouldn't have to worry about being ridiculed or judged. You need to create a culture where players and coaches feel welcome. A culture where they are able to thrive and succeed. A culture where they feel safe. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. One where players feel comfortable being open and vulnerable. One where players and coaches can trust one another. Where they are able to give each other the benefit of the doubt. If players don't feel safe, you'll never get them to perform at the level they're capable of performing at. They may be good, but they'll never be great. So, how do you create a non-threatening environment? The answer to that is, you as a coach need to embrace failure. That's right, encourage your players to fail. It's time to eliminate the negative connotation associated with the word failure. People are afraid to fail because they believe it makes them look weak and vulnerable. In reality, if your players aren't failing, they aren't trying. How do you expect your team to get any better if players on your team are not pushing themselves to the limits? Encourage your players to step out of their comfort zone. It's called a comfort zone for a reason. Players who become comfortable being outside of their comfort zone are the ones who are able to push themselves. They're able to thrive, and they're the ones who are able to get better and take their game to the next level. They're not afraid to fail. They understand that failure is part of the process. And finally, a welcoming culture is one that is loving and caring. This may sound like a strange question, but do you love your players? Do you love your coaches? Do you tell them that you love them? Now, I get it. It might sound crazy. Now, I'm not suggesting that you need to love your players and coaches like you love your family, but you need to genuinely care about all members of your team. You need to treat them like family. What have you done to show your players that you care for them? What's your most recent evidence? When was the last time you listened to a player who just needed someone to talk to? When's the last time you borrowed a player money who couldn't afford lunch or dinner? When's the last time you helped a player get caught up on schoolwork? When's the last time you gave a player a ride home after practice? I could go on and on, but I think you get it. Don't assume that your players know that you care about them. Show them. Trust them. Communicate this message to them. All players need to hear it, and some more than others. There you have it, coaches. A winning culture is one that is welcoming. It is vital for you, the coach, to create a culture where everyone feels welcome and valued and cared for. One where players feel safe and can leave their mask at the front door. As I alluded to in the intro, a winning culture is one that is welcoming, player-centered, and one that is improvement-driven. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can take your program to the next level. See you next time, coaches.
Take your coaching to the next level.